I think we're live now, John. We'll start this over again
Absolutely.
now. So we got some warm air today. Did you like that?
You know, I've had my fill of the mild winter.
Yeah.
I mean, 2 weeks ago today, it was 15 below wind chill at Lake Ontario.
Right.
The next week, we get, what, 53 degrees?
Yeah.
And a lot of 40s? I want it to be winter. I had a taste of that at Letchworth over the weekend, or the other day, I should say.
We've had 4 days now so far this winter, winter starting December 21st, where the airport got to 50 or more, and we've had, I think, 3, today included.
It's incredible.
That were just a degree or two shy of that, but it made for one heck of a sunrise this morning. If we've got that video, you were out this morning and caught something pretty spectacular.
Well, you know, I had a sense that it could happen. You know, at about 10 to 7, I start looking at the sky, and I was on the move. So I went to Fairport because I can get there fast. I knew they had a thin layer of ice, Eric, on the canal, very thin, by the way. And the reflection just spoke for itself as the sky erupted that morning twilight. And I was in the perfect spot because the sun was directly east, looking right at it. If it were to rise and where I could see it, it would be right over that water. I also had to get a train shot. A little different. I was feeling a good vibe, so I got my first train picture at High Falls from the Gorse Line building. A little different perspective on top of the building as the Kansas City Southern engines, clad in red and yellow, were going west. So I had a good day today, fun day.
I like the train, but that sunrise, that was...
You don't get them like that all the time, and so when you do, you got to take advantage of it if you're not doing anything else, and I wasn't. So it doesn't happen every day where you see that, and that was seen, by the way, all over the state. I heard from people in Binghamton, Corning, Horsehead, Syracuse, west of here, Medina. It was seen all over the place.
And you lucked out with the timing of that because you end up getting in the tail end of clouds moving out, and now we've got the clouds that have moved back in, so we had this narrow window of sunshine. We'll show you this. This is our live view from the Genesee Lighthouse, and boy, this is a far cry from earlier this morning. That is completely overcast now as some of that higher moisture moves in. The sun is gone. You're not going to see it tomorrow either, but the warm air will stick around for a bit. We're in the 40s right now. We'll end up staying into the 40s through the night, but I think tomorrow, John, is when things start to get changed up on us. We're going to get some rainfall in here, and you see it is a mess right now across the Deep South.
Yeah, this has been a strange couple of weeks for sure. We've had them in the past like this, obviously, but you expect once you're in January to start really feeling the wrath of winter. And based on your longer-term forecast, I think we're going to slowly get to where we expect it to be this time of year.
Trickling back toward that, but even there, we don't see any of these major Arctic intrusions. All of that's been bottled up here well off to our north. This is an interesting setup. So this is what we call, John, our water vapor imagery. It's showing us what the atmosphere is doing middle levels, like 10, 15, 20,000 feet. This is spin number 1. This is what's kicking off this first round of rainfall. The big thing for us this weekend, check this little guy out. That's a cold front that will come in late tomorrow night. That's what's going to drop our temps tomorrow night and set us up for maybe some snow on Saturday when this guy gets here. So we've got 3 of these things all dancing around, and they've got to link up just right. And this is where the million-dollar question comes in. Multiple scenarios here on Saturday. If this low tracks north, and you and I both probably not big fans of this one, we end up with more rain on Saturday than snow, and very little happens. This is the ideal one, that it tracks just off to our south. We get enough cold air on here, and you end up getting a couple inches of snow accumulating. Also on the table, this thing goes too far south, and yes, we get some snow, but it's barely anything, and we're in this mode of probably very little sticks.
Yeah, you know, one thing, you mentioned this scenario and some rain. One thing I am concerned about is the big picture impact on the Lake Ontario shoreline. I've been doing a lot of documentation already of the raging Genesee River, whether it be at High Falls or down at Letchworth State Park. That river's got some really strong flow to it right now. So any more rain is not a welcome sight.
It's not, and I'll throw this out there too. I think the pattern that we are moving into is more active, whether that be snow or rain. And that is going to have some bearing here as we start to get closer to spring.
Yeah, May and June are going to be, as they always seem to be now, very interesting along the shoreline. That lake is well above where it should be right now. We've had a lot of runoff, 40 inches of snow worth, snow melt and runoff, and any dose of rain that we could potentially get with that scenario you painted possibly could not be good in the big picture.
And they've got a decent snowpack off to our north in Canada,
and that's a problem too.
Eventually melt later on and come trickling down. So here's how we see this tomorrow. We've got rain in the forecast tomorrow. I've bumped the chances down to 40%. And you see a lot of this just stays off into the southern tier. I think we'll get some showers, not a big deal. Remember that cold front we talked about? Now we're at 35, 34, 33 when the moisture comes back by Saturday morning. So here we go. This model is one that is aggressive on taking that door number 2 track.
Yeah.
It's got it going just off to our south. So we would end up getting, number 1, the cold air, number 2, enough moisture for a swath of accumulating snow out of this. I am just very skeptical, John, that this is exactly how this is going to end up playing out. What we see a lot of times here in western New York, yes, that low might take this track, but it transfers its energy to the Atlantic coast. So this guy is weakening. The other one way off to our east is strengthening. So the net result for us is, yes, we get some snow, but because that low is dying out, it's not that much. So I've seen some models that suggest 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 inches of snow out of here. I'm having a really hard time buying into that.
Yeah.
I like this one. This is our in-house computer model, and you're going to see this ebb and flow with each model run. And the overall notion here is you're looking between these two.
Right.
You got a 2 to 3 inch swath out of this, and I think that is fair. Full acknowledgement that, you know, if this low deviates even more, you'll have some spots that, frankly, at 34 degrees, if it doesn't snow hard enough, guess what a lot of that does?
Yeah.
It melts.
Yeah.
And today being near 50 won't help that either.
Well, the good thing about this is it's just enough to cover up some of the imperfections on the landscape.
It would.
The
yes,
mud.
It absolutely
the ugly
would.
brown grass.
Well, and we'll throw the other side of the coin on this too. If that low is a bit more robust and it takes that track, what we'll often get in the models, they'll struggle figuring this out 48 hours out, but where you get this swath of snow, we will get individual bands in there that spit out higher snowfall totals, and you really don't know where those are going to set up until you see it show up on radar. And that's always the case with these. You've got a general 2 to 3, but somebody in there will end up getting more. So there's always the overachieving element out of this, but I need to see that low stronger than what the models are suggesting right now.
This much I do know for sure. I'll be texting you on Saturday
will
for the
be.
very latest guidance.
And I will be disappointed if that low comes in weak. I am rooting for more snow out of this too. Clipper system will come in, I think, Sunday night into early Monday. That'll give you another shot of maybe a quick pop of an inch or so. And then it's an interesting pattern next week. We've got multiple chances for snow showers. I don't think any of those are necessarily big kind of systems or snowstorms, but they will add slowly and progressively to whitening of the ground, something that it's been now about 2 weeks since we've had any snowpack on the ground.
It's been a while. I remember a year ago. It wasn't until, I believe, January 20th when we got our first really big snowfall in Metro Rochester, and it's kind of looking like this is going to be a repeat
Feels
of a
familiar,
year ago.
doesn't it?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, we shall see how that goes, but we'll take this one step at a time.
Yes, we will.